due to the fact that Article 6.9 is more or less Stuart's baby, not to discuss this article in his absence.
I second
And
that.
I think
But his spirit is here.
his spirit is here, but I cannot listen to him in this case.
We keep it as it is.
I think it is fair to discuss it in his presence.
To postpone to
Do
the
you
next
agree?
Congress.
No.
Yes.
To postpone to the next Congress.
To the next Congress even.
Next one, yes. Next one.
Only in case he is not present here the day after tomorrow, still we will deal with him, with his article the day after tomorrow. Any objections? Okay. Then we go to 6.10. Yeah.
About 6.7.
I will do it later when we go through to all articles. Not now. I want to go forward now, and at the end of all meetings, again I want to go article by article and ask for any comments for changing. Not now. 6.10. Any comment? .11, it's not new. 6.12 is old. I think there's only a very small cosmetic change. You see, it's written also Article 13.9. 6.13 is old. So now we go to 7.1. 7.1. You see the alternative. Very simple, if an illegal move is not discovered within 10 moves after the illegal move was completed, then the illegal move stands. This is the new proposal. And annex with this is that the arbiter has an option not to adjust the clocks to avoid that the schedule of the tournament will be damaged. Okay, let's first of all discuss the first part. In case of an illegal move, something like this, within 10 moves not discovered, the game will be continued and the illegal move stands. Who likes to comment this point? Mr. Igor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a very rare situation that I wrote this proposal, but I don't want to defend it. For one reason.
I understand you are in favor with this.
Yes. Why? Because it's exactly the article which I think players should think and should, let's say, choose. What I wrote when I sent this proposal. Area of fun, for example, already 5 hours a game started. And it, let's say, move number 50. And suddenly it appeared that move number 10 was illegal. And my question is for real players. Do they wish to continue after move number 50? Or do they wish to come to move number 10? If everything in my hands, I even can give it to Mr. Filipovich like a real player. As he wishes, let him be. Something like this.
Okay, give the microphone to Mr. Filipovich, please.
No, I will say.
No.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I remember laws from 1960s. Every illegal move was accepted if there is no protest before the next move. It was very known. In this way, this time, illegal move was accepted. But I think we cannot accept illegal move at all. So I propose to delay this, except last sentence regarding chess clock.
To delete it.
To delete this totally. You know, there's not 10 moves, why not 5 moves, why not 15 moves? we can do any number. But it's better to delay this and keep it like it is. You know, I don't believe that player can discover, illegal move after 15 or 20 moves. It is impossible. You know, if you are a good player, they see they make a legal move. If they are bad player, doesn't matter what they say. What they say. Thank you.
Hello. Takis. And then the neighbor.
I believe that the reason we discuss this is a possible cheating. I make an illegal move, let's say after on move 5, on purpose or without. My opponent does not understand this, but I know this. So before 40 move, when I have a lost position, I say that I made an illegal move.
You claim your own illegal move?
Yes, my own illegal move. Then the arbiter has to, according to this. So I believe that the only reason that we discuss it is this, to avoid cheating. So, or not only 40, but let's say some number of moves where I have a lost position. Then I try to get my previous position that was okay. So maybe...
2 players play chess, not only one.
Okay.
So the opponent must...
I claim. What do you think? What has the arbiter to do? Something he has to do. It's an illegal move. I made an illegal move, I claim. So 10 moves probably is too much. 10 moves can change the whole position, even 10 moves. If we want to accept this article, probably we have to lower the number of the moves.
5.
5, 3, whatever.
If I may, yes, I agree. In fact, that is the rule we have in the USCF. We actually discussed it at the meeting in New York back in June, and I like it for the same reason that he just mentioned, that if you don't have some kind of cutoff, it allows for some kind of gamesmanship, that there's an early illegal move, and then you wait and see what happens. If I'm lost, then somehow I'll bring it up to the attention of the arbiter.
Does this proposal include that the arbiter is not allowed to claim an illegal move if he observes it?
No. He has right.
This is a right of the player to accept an illegal move after five moves are played.
So not only also arbiter. Back move.
Arbiter maybe realize it after the computer guy will come.
But may I give just one sentence?
Mr. Filipovic.
You know, I am afraid that my friends just trying to suggest that player came to the game just to try to cheat each other. You know, we cannot take such a situation that trying to cheat each other at the beginning and just wait 5 moves for the, maybe opponent overlook this, or arbiter. We cannot take such a position. We must be, at least we must be sure that the honest player are trying to take part in the competition. In other way, we can always can find a lot of situations that can cheat each other. Thank you.
I, in fact, agree with Mr. Filipowicz, because, in fact, if Stuart was here, he would point out that the rules of chess are actually drafted on the assumption that the players do not deliberately intend to cheat. But I did hear a comment over to my right which said, this happens, but I'd be interested to know, has anyone ever witnessed the situation described ever happening in a tournament that they've directed?
How many moves did it take?
Roberto Ricca from Italy. And it happens once in a tournament, 2 great masters, and one didn't move, he castled after he had moved the queen.
Yes.
The rook. The rook.
But did he then try and recover the game because he had a lost position?
No,
This is what I'm asking.
no, well, actually, he won. And the other one.
So there is no examples, practical
Yes.
examples at this point
No.
of this happening.
No. Klaus.
I also agree with Mr. Press because I think this proposal tries to solve problems which doesn't occur in reality. I think there are no players who have the intention to cheat and also have the intention to wait what's happening, and I heard about such a case, and if there is not such a case, maybe there is one, but I never heard about it, but there is not such a case, I think we should not change rules, which are good rules, which never cause problems.
Yeah.
In Yerevan in Olympiad it once was Salvador played against us, something I don't remember. But then nobody saw that King was under the check once.
Mr. Sloan. Mr. Sloan.
Yeah, I personally witnessed a case in the Marshall Chess Club. International Master Jay Bonin was in a totally lost position, and instead of resigning, he had a combination of a rook and knight on the opponent's back rank. He moved the knight 2 squares diagonally like a bishop does, and by doing that, he claimed it was intended as a joke, but by doing that, he forced a perpetual check, and it went back and forth a couple of times. The opponent agreed, well, it's perpetual check. Any reasonable player would look at the position, realize that the knight move was impossible, but the opponent didn't realize it, agreed to a draw, and I actually personally saw the illegal move, so I knew it happened. And then we didn't know what to do about International Master doing this, but finally everybody told Bonin that, you know, this is a very unethical thing to do, please resign the game, and finally he did.
Mr. Alt.
The valid rule is very simple, and this rule can produce complications. What is if you observe that, for example, 7 moves before was an irregular move, but another irregular move was 15 moves before? The one shall be corrected, the other not? Or shall a championship be decided by an irregular move that the arbiter cannot correct because it was 10 moves before? Or another case, by an irregular move you produce a position that never can be reached by regular moves. For example, you have suddenly 2 bishops on the same color and no pawn has been promoted. A position that you never reach by a regular move.
You mean an illegal position?
It's an illegal position. Can you correct it or can you not? I think you replace a simple rule by a very challengeable and complicated rule.
Yes. Igor, you want that floor?
No.
Oh, okay. Meredith, here.
If you remember, in Krakow, we had in technical meeting one discussion about the illegal move to be possible to record by the electronic score sheet, and over there was again.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah. And this is the same. These things are out of chess players. These things are imagination of the, I don't know, in this Alice in the World, what is this story for the child that the person go up, down. This in the real world never happened. We should be able to understand that a chess player play a regular move, and we should respect it and not go to imagination that thing go up instead of down.
Carol.
This rule has been used in the United States for decades. Mainly has nothing to do with.
For such a long time cheating there.
No, I was just going to say it has nothing to do with potential cheating. It has to do with the length of the tournament. If you have an illegal move which is discovered 30 moves later, and you have to go all the way back to the beginning, it's very time consuming. And you don't want to then you have to change the time because otherwise they have practically no time to finish the game. So in other words, limiting it to 10 moves at least limits the chance of having to start the game over practically.
Does it happen quite often?
It doesn't, I don't know how many times it happens, but it does happen often enough to make it useful. You know, it doesn't happen once a day, probably doesn't happen once a month, but
But the current wording.
Is-
I see a hand, but I cannot see the face under this hand. Ah, okay.
Iris Marguerite, Canada. Follow up what Carol's just saying. If that's the concern, I would rather address it with the arbiter having the flexibility with the clock times.
Which you already have.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if we have the flexibility to adjust the clock times based on our schedule, based on what's happened, then we don't need the 10-week restriction, in my opinion.
Because, you know, as a matter of fact, you see, I included this already here, hoping that you should agree to this point. Let me make it red.
And I think we have a potential problem mentioned, and this is a solution to it. I don't know if we need to figure out, I don't know if we need to solve anything else.
But then my question is, you in favor for the original one, including this amendment, or the alternative?
Is the alternative including the 10-move restriction?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't like the 10-move restriction. I think it just says an integrity to the game of chess. I would rather, once we realize it's been a legal move, we go back to before that, to a legal position.
Okay. Takis. Oh, wait, microphone.
I would say that I would agree with my colleagues who said that this is a very rare case, probably imaginative, and I would think that this is a case, the alternative. For the arbiter's manual, I would suggest to keep the article as it is with what you proposed, includes the right not to change the clocks, it's okay.
Yes.
And keep this alternative in our minds, probably to refer it to arbiter's manuals for special cases and how we handle it.
You know, another thing is, I'd like to mention, if we accept an illegal move, not to be corrected, first of all, that if the game is transmitted, the transmission will be stopped. It means the whole world will see something is wrong. This is one. Even if this is not the case, that nobody can replay on a computer this game, because no computer accepts illegal moves. Probably this is also a point to take into consideration.
You can trick it. Yeah. I mean, in that game, I was able.
I hear
sorry. In that game, I was able to reproduce the regular move.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it is possible. I mean, it is not a considered, but it is possible to trick the PGM.
You are a lecturer or not? You are a lecturer?
No.
Oh, okay. If anybody else who like to comment, okay, then I'd like to have your opinion, first of all, of the whole meeting. Who is in favor for the alternative? Because this is a proposal. Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who is in favor to keep it with this small amendment? This includes the right, or better said, the option not to change the clock times. Who is in favor of this one? I guess this is majority. Commission. Who is in favor for the alternative? 1. Who is in favor for 7.1, including the amendment? It's clear. Thank you. May I delete it?
Yes.
Because Andre said so many times to delay, and now I can delete it.
Okay. To delete.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, then I have nothing to say about 7.2. It's not been changed, unless anybody has a comment. Dirk, good morning. 7.3. Yeah. You know, an option is now also 7.3 that they can start with correct colors, keeping in mind the option not to change the clock times. It can be an option. It depends when do you discover it. Or you like to keep it as it is.
Keep it like this.
Keep.
For the next Congress. Yes.
7.4. Same.
Sir?
Excuse me.
Please, could you put the article we're talking about at the top of the screen? I've got a very, very tall gentleman in front of me.
Still, there's here an empty chair, Mr. Barnes. So,
Thank you.
no, wait. One more. No, okay. So, we have to add in 7.4, the arbiter may penalize a player who displays the pieces according to one of the articles, 13.9.
Yes, it's clear.
Seven 7.5. I think 7.5A nothing has been changed.
No, it has changed.
Tell me.
Okay.
Arthur Schuring from the Netherlands. In the text, if during a game it is found that an illegal move, including failing to meet the ground of a motion, then there's the qualification not exchanging the ball of a new piece, but in the old text it was
taking the king. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, I explain.
I will ask a clarification why taking the king has been disappeared.
Yeah, I can explain you. Very simple. If you go to Article 1.2, it's written there.
Yeah.
And you know, 4 years ago we added these 2 points, especially because it was new. In my opinion, everybody understands now we don't need it to put on all places. And I put precisely here, failing to meet the requirements of promotion, because there are a lot of discussion, and one is in which case is a promotion illegal when the pound was not exchanged by a piece. And in my opinion, there was no need to I can show you. You know, in Article 1.1.2 is written that you cannot take the king.
Yeah, it's clear.
And I thought there's no reason to put it again on this place. But if you want, yeah, I think it's clear. It's written in the basic rules. Why to repeat it in the competition rules? Can everybody agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Arthur, you can agree?
I agree. I wanted to clarify.
Okay. Okay. In fact, it wasn't cosmetic correction. You understand? B. However, see Article 6.9i. Okay, this is under discussion. No, not under discussion. It means 6.9i. By the way, I don't like it like it's written here. This I will tell you later. It means if the opponent cannot checkmate the opponent, cannot checkmate the opponent by any series of legal move, then in that case the game will be declared a draw. And okay, although we didn't discuss Article 6.9, we can, I think, pass this point, because when we take the decision about 6.9, Totti, I've seen. Yeah, Totti.
Yeah, I'd just like to call the attention that we're giving 2 warnings here, two illegal moves followed by a loss. Now in football they give 1 yellow card And the next card is a red card already.
Yeah,
Why
but
give
in
two warnings?
hockey they gave a green card, yellow card, and then a red card.
Boxing 3.
But by the way, in hockey it is still better than in football, because if you have a green card, you have to go out for 2 minutes, and yellow card for 10 minutes. There was something here. No? We can pass?
Yeah.
Oh,
May I
thank
ask
you.
something? Why we don't unify the penalties regarding the time that are specifically described in the laws of session?
No, we do. It is now on all places 2 minutes.
The time repetition also, yes.
Sorry?
The time repetition too.
Also in a wrong claim, and here it is 2 minutes. Thank you. 7.6 doesn't change after.
Well, there are point, I think, in the text. Oh, it disappeared already.
Okay. No, 7.6 is here, still here.
Yes.
Okay. Probably it's better that, first of all, okay, no, in fact, 8.1 has not been changed. Only in case we change something in Article 9, we have to change Article 8. Yeah?
Appendix E should be Appendix C.
C, that's correct. Only in this case we have to change something. Okay, in fact, Article 8 is more labeled than it was before. I think it looks now a little bit better. 8.2 is the same, 8.3 is the same, 8.4. Excuse me.
8.1 sub D, I think. 8.1 D, I think C13 should be C12.
Yeah, you have to go through all the references. What is this? 8.1, scores shall be used only for recording the moves, primary reply. Again, I told you it's more or less the same, except it is labeled.
Last sentence.
Excuse me?
Was add the last sentence. Adjustment of clock shall not apply to player with disability.
Ah, yeah, this is at here. On some places, we added something regarding disabled players. Mr. Sloan.
I just have a question. We have a Grandmaster, Alex Wojciech. He's dead now, but he wrote his score sheet in a completely illegible way. You could not make out even one move of his score sheet, and yet he could himself read it. What do you do about a case like this? This is a Grandmaster I'm talking about. What do you do about a case like that?
Kids, we can teach them. Grandmasters is a bit more difficult to teach. I like to remind, for instance, Mr. Kochnoy. His score sheets after move 5 are unreadable.
It's just
yeah.
Under 8.1a, we already have a rule that requires that players record the score sheet be recorded legibly. Obviously, it now just becomes a question of enforcement, which is outside the scope of this commission. Okay. .4, 8.5. Okay, let me briefly clarify